I'm back again, Burnett, and the first book I'm going to be talking about in this little series of Getting to Know Me is one that I was inspired to write several years ago because of my own personal belief system and personal experiences. Now, I don't know if I want to make this the first one, right? Because I don't want to scare you all away, but I am who I am. And I always am that, like I can't change it. And I'm bringing my full self to the table in my work, in my life, and even in the story I'm writing now, which is a fantasy story. I bring all of who I am into the telling of that story. So, protect and clear with the divine. Why this book? This is an interesting book because I wasn't really planning to write a book on prayers and spiritual tools to break spells and bind negative energy. And some of you may decide to look me up after this video. Don't be scared. So, I have 2 kids, and one of them at the time, he was like 5 or going on 5, something like that. It's so early. I still have a whole pot of coffee. I called it a pot because you see my mug. It's humongous. It's still early. Math brain is not working. That's why I'm a writer. But we were experiencing some otherworldly things in the home, and I'm one of those women, mothers, and spiritual beings that's like, no, you're not gonna mess with my kids. You're not gonna mess with my home. You're not gonna mess with my family. It just doesn't work that way. I also happen to be a spirit medium, a very gifted intuitive. Some people call it psychic. I am really not in love with that word. It has some negative connotations because of pop culture and maybe some people out there who have abused their gifts and maligned the word. But I'm able to do those things, and I was inspired. I was given tools, and I've been given them when working with clients. So I would help clients achieve certain results if they were having problems with their own spiritual field, their children, their homes, their lives, able to tap into what was the thing that was manifesting. Was it a psychic attack? Was it just their own mindset? A lot of the times it could just be like what you have clouded yourself with. Some of it's that. Some of it is actual when people give you the evil eye, and they do it often enough, they're sending out some powerful energy towards you. And people don't want to think about it, but our words have power, our thoughts have power. We create the experiences we have around us with that, right? So this is why I wrote the book. We were having some experiences in my home, and it was interesting because at the time, so I am married, happily so, but my husband is what I call a skeptic. I think it's so much fun. His wife is a medium who's literally like been on a virtual stage with, Lisa Williams. And he's a skeptic. But at this time, we were asleep and we could hear something in the attic. And it was like, what's that? And he heard it. That's the thing. He heard it to the point where he got up, he grabbed, I think it was like the baseball bat we had, and he went to investigate because he could hear walking in the attic. I'm like, no. Mama had to take action, right? Like I said, you don't mess with my family, you don't mess with my kids, you don't mess with my home. That's what birthed this book. And I'm also a channel, I'm a spirit channel, so I channeled some information, and it was funny because I went back a couple years later and I read it. I was like, I wrote that. I was like, yes, it was written through me. But I was like, yeah, this stuff makes sense. And then I'll tell you, I updated it. I updated the cover. I also added a chapter at the very back because you learn things. You know, I wrote this initially 5 years ago. And last year I learned something. And when I went back and read what I'd written 5 years ago and then what I'd learned last year, I was like, I saw it in action. And that was really powerful. So I added that chapter in here. So this book is really, it was to help me, but then to also help other people. And you're probably like, what's in this book? So I'm just gonna close in up on this. These are the contents, at least part of them. That's one page. And then that's the other page. Now, it's got a beginning prayer, honoring the divine, because I do believe in a higher power, whether you call it the universe, the divine, God. I believe that we have access to it. It flows in us, around us, and through us, and we need to use it. Prayers and affirmation for protection and clearing, protection while sleeping and dreaming, why clearing and protecting spaces is important, prayer and process for clearing and protection, protection of spaces and creating a border. So those are the ones in all caps I just read. And then letting go of what no longer serves you, removing negative people, minimizing the impact of negative people, so you can't actually remove them, can't get rid of them, severing spiritual ties, cords, fragments, spiritual portal closing. That's what I had to do in our home to get rid of, that's one of the steps I had to do to get rid of the energies that were coming in. I discovered that there were two portals, or two entryways in one of the bedrooms. Closing energetic and spiritual portals. Process, simple portal closing. Life continues after physical death. As I said, I am a medium. Prayer for those on life support systems. Prayer for those who have crossed over. Clearing and charging your crystals. A simple meditation of oneness, the Lord's Prayer, and then dark campaigns and negative assignments. That was the new one. And then away from fear and essay. And then a couple other things like how to use a pendulum to check your results. Like, you did the thing, right? Did it work? So you can actually check it. It's interesting because I didn't actually go out with the intention when I wrote it that I was going to be writing a book and selling it. You know, I put these things together and I began collecting them. And then I realized I've got a lot in here. Someone might want to use this, and people would in my spiritual community. That's why I wrote Protect and Clear with the Divine. You got to see a little bit of what's in it and to get to know a little bit about me. Yes, yes, yes. Thanks.